Hello you lovely Toad person, my name is Ceave and welcome back. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a really interesting game. It's basically a Mario game with a twist. While Mario games rely heavily on Mario's impressive jumping skills, Treasure Tracker needs to use other mechanics to create challenging and interesting gameplay. Because Toad's backpack is so heavy that he isn't able to jump. While Mario is able to jump to most places, even the smallest wall can be a challenging puzzle to overcome for Toad. While Mario can just defeat most enemies by jumping on top of them, Toad needs to go for a wittier approach. And while Mario is able to ground pound most bosses into the floor, Toad has to? Well, how does Toad defeat a boss? Captain Toad is a game about walking, moving the camera, avoiding combat and interacting with things. It's a game about limitations. But how do you create an epic boss battle in a game that has no fighting, no jumping and in general not many mechanics other than walking? There is a boss fight in the game which reoccurs 3 times, Draggadon. And these 3 boss fights are a blast to play. Treasure Tracker creates an epic boss fight with almost no mechanics. But how are they able to pull this off? Which tricks do they use to create tension and danger without any additional mechanics? And is there something to learn for creating boss fights in Mario Maker? Well, you ready? Let's find out. The boss fight I want to talk through in detail is the last Draggadon encounter in Chapter 3. We'll first take a look at the fight and then try to deconstruct how it's done. The fight starts with the fire snake blasting out of the lava. Now Toad has to react quickly as the dragon starts to shoot fireballs towards him immediately. In the previous encounters, Toad was able to dodge the danger by hiding behind walls. Here, no natural safe spot is available for him, but luckily Draggadon left these blocks in the arena, which Toad can rise and lower by tapping on them. So in the first part of the fight, our mushroom has to make clever use of these blocks in order to survive. This door takes Toad to a higher area in the stage and a self-building platform is reintroduced here. Now Toad has to go through this pipe and is shot to the other side of the arena in an epic way. Here he has to solve a mini puzzle using the moving blocks from before. This time there are doors inside the blocks and our backpacker has to align them in such a way that he doesn't fall into the lava. Meanwhile, the lava started to rise and Toad has to be quick because mushrooms can't exist in fire. Luckily another pipe shoots him to a higher place once again. Here another puzzle awaits Toad, which is solved by moving the camera, and then the last part of the fight starts. Suddenly, fireballs are dropping from the ceiling, and Toad has to make his way on another self-building platform while dodging fireballs from above and shot by the dragon. At the end of this platform, the ladder awaits him, which takes him to the gold star. Or so he thought, but as it turns out, the fight has damaged the pillar on which the star awaits Toad. And this happens. Hooray! Toad made it through the fight, collected the star and knocked the dragon out. So the boss is a chasing sequence. Toad basically needs to make his way through the stage until he reaches the star at the top of the volcano. There are 3 main dangers to his health, which are introduced during the fight in 3 stages. The first third of the boss introduces Draggadon himself, who constantly shoots fireballs towards our brave mushroom. The moment Toad goes through this door, the second threat kicks in. Now, Toad not only has to dodge the magma balls, but the lava tide starts to rise as well, and he has to be faster than the lava, or he'll take a lethal lava bath. This basically adds a timer for Toad to beat the stage. The third major threat are the fireballs, which start to drop from the ceiling in the last third of the fight. Toad now has to be faster than the lava, avoiding Draggadon's fireballs and dodging the fire from above. So the fight escalates the further our mushroom progresses. At first he's relatively safe and allowed to understand the basic mechanics of this boss fight, until everything starts to escalate and leads to one final epic chase up this ladder while the whole stage starts to collapse and Toad makes it just in time. So these are the basic threats the stage itself represents, but there's obviously more to the stage. Every element used in this boss battle is already established. These shifting blocks have appeared in a couple of stages before. The green platforms have been used before as well, and it's our third encounter with Draggadon, so we already know his behavior as well. Treasure Tracker introduces something new in almost every level, but here they don't. Only already known mechanics are used. This totally makes sense as the stage is constructed to be a rapidly escalating chase for a volcano, and there isn't really time to teach you new mechanics. The boss fight in the stage is structured in the same way most levels in this game are. There are the classic rotate the camera secrets, with which the game is filled. There are coins to collect and things to pluck out of the ground. There are additional challenges for better players. There are the free hidden diamonds. There is the typical enemy dodging, which most threats in Treasure Tracker are built around. And the stage even ends by collecting a star, like all non-boss levels do as well. Let's ignore the additional boss threats for a moment, because if we do, the gameplay of this boss fight is almost similar to a lot of other Toad stages. Let's take stage 216 for comparison. In this stage, our mushroom has to solve small tap puzzles with bullet blasters on top of moving blocks. He has to dodge the blasters and the additional option to pluck stuff out of the ground or to collect the free diamonds. If we take a look at the action Toad performs in both stages, we can see that they aren't that different at all. In fact, the whole gameplay during the boss stage is structured in a similar way as stages were before. Just as a quick clarification, I'm not trying to say that every Captain Toad stage is built around exactly these gameplay actions. Sometimes the stages are a single huge puzzle, sometimes you have to cleverly navigate clones, sometimes they're all about exploring, and sometimes you shoot carrots out of a minecart. The point I'm trying to make is that the boss fight is structured in a similar way compared to already established stages. But additionally to the standard gameplay, the boss threats are added on top of it. And this is where things become really interesting. Let's talk about these additional threats in detail, because they aren't as dangerous as they may appear at first glance. First, let's take a look at the fireballs Draggadon shoots towards the player. They're a real threat, but they always appear on set moments and are heavily scripted. There are only a few places in the levels where they can actually hit you. But Draggadon shoots fire even if you're in a safe place. If you just run from shelter to shelter, they probably will never hit you. If you get hit by them, it's probably because you left your shelter too early or were too greedy. And there is a reason to be greedy or impatient in this stage: the lava, which tries to burn you. Which leads us to our next threat, the rising lava. There's a big design problem with the rising lava in combination with the fireballs. Whenever Draggadon spits, there is a timing window to reach the next area. If you were too slow, you have to wait for him to spit fire again until you're able to reach the next part of the stage, or you take a hit for sure. But once the lava tide is rising, this leads to a problem. If a player missed a shot cycle from the boss, he has to wait. But while he waits, the lava can kill him. In extreme cases, this could lead to a decision whether Toad wants to die by a shot from the boss or by taking a lava buff. But our mushroom is already dead, but still walking. So how did the designers solve this problem? Well, the rising lava is fake. It can't hit you. There are set triggers in the stage when the lava tide starts to rise, and then it rises to a certain point and stops. The big waves which go through the lava help to hide that it's actually not moving anymore, and if a player plays through the stage in a normal speed, he probably won't notice it, because the triggers are set in really clever positions. But we can wait here for hours and the lava won't hit us, period. The concept behind this is called perceived danger, and a lot of games use something like this. The lava adds nothing gameplay-wise to the stage in theory. It could just as well not be there, and the boss fight would exactly be the same mechanically wise. But it changes the way Toad and the player experience the stage. It gives you a feeling of time pressure, while there is none. It gives you the feeling you could die if you missed a shot cycle, and that's pressure, while it doesn't matter at all. And it gives you the feeling of an escalating boss fight you barely survived, while the level is basically a standard stage, not a boss fight. And then there is the third escalation stage in the fight, these fireballs which Toad has to dodge. And as you may have already guessed by now, they are mainly fake as well. There are 6 fixed positions where they drop down. 5 of them are absolutely no danger to Adventurous Mushroom, and 1 always drops on this position. There could be no floor at this point and it would be the same stage. But the fireballs add another piece of fake escalation to the boss fight and make the final chasing sequence up this staircase feel really epic. And then there's one last small trick the game pulls to make this stage feel like a real boss fight. The final pillar breaks in a cutscene and drops on top of the boss, knocking him out. This gives Toad the feeling that he defeated the boss. That he on his own managed to beat this huge fire snake, while in fact he played a standard stage which was spiced up with fake dangers, and the platform on which the star waits collapsed in a cutscene. But it's really important that the platform knocks the boss out, because this defeats the boss instead of just escaping him. It gives you the feeling of accomplishment and changes the feeling of the level from a standard stage to feel like a heroic boss fight you just won. I think a good boss fight needs to stay true to the core gameplay. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is no game about fighting. It's a game about solving small puzzles, dodging things, turning the camera and interacting with stuff. And this boss fight stays true to this gameplay and doesn't try to transform the game into something it is not. And I think that's the reason why this fight feels really great, and the tricks the designers added make it feel even more dangerous and epic. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and maybe you feel especially Draggadon today and want to hit the subscribe button as well. The next video might take a little bit longer as usual, but I hope you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye!